Greetings, sentient beings. This stream is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Yeah, every time you say that, I repress the urge to just string out a bunch of cusses right after. Be like, there's your evidence for this disclaimer.
Oh, usually right after I say that, somebody throws a fuck in there. Yeah, it's pretty common.
Has it started? Oh, there we go. Gotta mute it now. Oh,
So, yeah.
Wrong button.
So anyway, I'm going to keep this fairly short because I was working on my car today, but it seems they sent me the wrong parts, so I've got to get back at it tomorrow.
Oh, that stinks.
Well, I think that I was trying to replace the exhaust system, and so I bought the whole kit that's supposed to be all the pre-bent pipes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they sent me the one for the 4-door model instead of for the hatchback, because the pipes wind up about 4 inches too long, and one of them's bent in the wrong place for the muffler to sit where it's supposed to.
Oops.
So yeah, I'm going to have to wind up kind of cutting and splicing the pipes, which I was basically is double the amount of time it takes to install it. And I had to go back to the auto parts store today to buy some pieces to, kind of do homebrew adapters.
Let me guess, you'd already pretty much installed it before you found out the problem.
Well, I didn't realize the problem until I, got the old pieces off and tried to put the new ones up under there. At which point the car had no muffler and I had to be able to drive it. So I had to patch it back together well enough to be able to drive it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I've got to go and finish that tomorrow. But at least Sloth Girl's son is visiting, so at least I had some help with it.
So how does your son feel about your guys' religious proclivities, I guess would be the word. Does he know, or is he religious?
Oh, I don't think he ever really put much stock in religion. Which, Sloth Girl used to be more religious at one time, but I think it kind of faded over the years with her. So, they never really took him to church or anything.
Gotcha. Well, no, that's fair. Never mind. I was about to say, well, they never really took my brother and sister and I to church, and then I was sitting there going, no, that doesn't prove it either, because I'm not religious, my sister's not religious. I'm not sure about my brother. We don't talk enough for that.
Yeah, my oldest brother and I are on completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oof.
But there is 15 years between us, so we're almost separate generations. And and he actually did wind up going to the Catholic school for a good amount of time, but I'm the youngest of 9, and by the time my parents had 4 kids, they couldn't afford that anymore, so I went through the public school the whole time. Okay, so who have we got in the side chat here now?
Why is everybody's name green? What did I do?
What?
Everybody's name is highlighted green now.
Well, it is on mine, but that's because I installed the go to channel thing in Chrome.
Do I have that installed? Whoops. Yes, apparently I do now.
Yep. So, okay. So, we got Doc, saw Sloth Girl there, Native Atheist.
I saw the family.
Yep. So that's pretty much the roll call for right now. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sloth Girl was saying her son follows the Norse gods.
Oh.
I don't know how seriously he takes it, though. I can't really say one way or the other. I mean, kind of the only context religions come up with is us making jokes about it.
Well, I can see someone in a polytheistic religion not having a problem making fun of Christians
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, like I said, I was hanging out in the pagan community for 25 years, so pagans definitely have much more sense of humor about religion.
Speaking of pagans, did you see Ocean's video on folkism?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It was in my feed when I came home, but
Mm-hmm.
so it's in my list to watch later.
He brought up something that I think I want to ask him about at some point. He was talking about not resurrection. No, what's the word when you die and then you come back with a new body and stuff?
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation. He seemed to say something about reincarnation in a Norse context, and I kind of want to ask him about that. And then he was talking about their idea of the afterlife, in which you see all your family, regardless of like their what's their genealogy, because it's about folkism, and made me wonder where polytheists think atheist family members end up.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I kind of fall back on the Norse mythology at times, but it's more a nod to my Scandinavian heritage than anything I take too seriously.
Hmm.
Although, as far as celebrating Yule and that, I do like the mythology around it.
Hmm. Well, if you have a chance, you should read this. Since you say you have Scandinavian ancestry, there's two web comics that I read. One is called Scandinavia versus the World. Are you familiar with it?
I've seen it a couple of times.
Okay, so you're vaguely then.
Yeah, just vaguely.
And then the same author different author. She does Scandinavia versus the World, and she does another one. But there's another comic that I've been reading called Stand Still, Stay Silent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a creepy comic that's it's based in the future, and we've had like a disease it comes about. I don't know how. It's never explained. But what it does is it corrupts the body and traps the soul in the body. And people become monsters, and they call them trolls.
Yeah,
In the world,
I see where that fits into some of the Scandinavian mythology.
But it was so devastating that all of the known world in this thing is Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and then maybe like little islands around the area, because they've lost a lot of technology. So contacting people across the Pacific and all that, and the Atlantic is like, it's not really feasible.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting comic.
This sounds interesting. I'll have to look for that one.
I found it because of have you ever heard of Overly Sarcastic Studios?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I follow them.
They did a video about something. I mean, it might have been horror or something. I can't remember what it was about, but they brought the comic up, and I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. I will go look at this. And I've been reading it ever since.
Yeah. It's interesting, especially around, the Yule and Christmas. Both the traditional Norse mythology and also how much of the contemporary practices come from the Norse and Germanic mythologies.
Mm-hmm.
Everything around Santa Claus and all that all of that comes from the Nordic countries.
Mm-hmm.
And the one part of it that bugs me that I keep pointing out to people is you've got to get your character races straight. Santa's helpers are not elves. They're the Scandinavian wood gnomes.
Okay.
See, elves are roughly human size and at best are indifferent to humans, or a lot of times will just screw with humans just for amusement.
Mm-hmm.
The forest gnomes are helpful little guys and they enjoy repairing, enjoy fixing things for people and leaving little gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also only supposed to be about 2 to 3 feet tall. Now, which one of these sounds more like the guys that you associate with Santa?
Right. Right. I'm trying to remember if do you remember, I mean, I don't know if you would have seen this, but David the gnome.
Oh, yeah.
What was he? Was he actually a gnome?
Yeah. Yeah, that was, based pretty much on the Scandinavian gnomes.
Except they're smaller than foxes. A little too short, maybe.
Yeah, well, in different tellings of the stories, the size varied quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, actually, I think a big part of the confusion with the elves is that, especially when the stories got brought into, Great Britain,
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't really have any real equivalent for the gnomes. So they got labeled as being either elves or fairies.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, excuse me.
My game is being stubborn.
What game is that?
Breath of the Wild. It's a Zelda game. I need star fragments to upgrade my jewelry, and there's no shooting stars tonight or yesterday night. I'm just sitting there, advancing the days, standing there waiting to see if a star falls.
Yeah, I don't really play computer games very much.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a little too obsessed with them and just waste a lot of time, so it's better for me to stay away from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. I spend a lot of time playing them when I'm not at work. Well, that's one of those things that people say, I shouldn't do this thing or that thing because I'll do it too much. And I'm like, you eat, drink, shower, pee, and go to work. If you do all those things, if you're still responsible about the things in your life, I don't think it really matters how many hours you spend playing video games.
Yeah, well, that's really how something's defined as an addiction, of whether or not it interferes with other things you have to be doing. But for me, it's more a matter of I've got so many other things and other projects that I would like to get done, and I'm bad at procrastinating to begin with, so I don't need to throw that in.
Yeah, that's fair. My issue becomes, I'll still eat and I'll still go to work and do all the stuff I'm supposed to do in that way. But when it comes to being at home and, like, I don't know, doing the dishes or vacuuming, I'm not so great about that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not really good on eating and sleeping when I'm supposed to, so. But that's kind of irregardless of what I'm doing. When I get working on a project, I can get going on it, and I'll go 20 to 30 hours in a stretch that I won't eat or sleep.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, it's hyper focusing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a common thing that comes with the autism.
Mm-hmm. Sloth girl should be reminding you to eat.
Yeah, well, that's her main job, is to make sure that I don't go consecutive days without eating. Because on my own, I have been known to go 3 days at a time without eating.
Oy. I can barely go 24 hours without eating. I tell people
Yeah.
sometimes, I say I'm on the gamer diet, and they go, "What's the gamer diet?" I said, playing a video game for 12 hours and forgetting to eat until the point where your hands are shaking, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, I probably need to go eat something." Pause the game and go eat.
Yeah, but yeah, among the things I put off, that's the housekeeping. I keep the kitchen up. I make sure I don't have any food stuff piling up, but the other stuff, like the routine vacuuming and cleaning, yeah, I can tend to put that off for too long.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I know it's not really good for me, that if I vacuum and dust things, that I won't have as many problems with my allergies if I remember to do that on a regular basis.
The problem that I have with vacuuming on a regular basis is it doesn't feel as satisfying. In the weird sense of, when you run a vacuum over the carpet and you hear it actually picking things up, I find that satisfying.
Well,
But if I vacuumed every week, it wouldn't be as obvious, and then it would be less fun.
well, even if I do it once a week, I notice it just as far as emptying out the canister, just because you don't really see the cat fur in the carpet, but it certainly picks up a lot of it.
Yeah.
So clearly, he sheds a lot more than I realize until I vacuum.
What color is he?
He's a tuxedo kitty. He's got a black
Oh,
back
black
and
and
a white
white.
belly.
Okay. That's weird. I would have expected it to be more obvious with black fur.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't really notice it too much, except that's always in my food. That's kind of a given if you have a cat.
Yeah, I used to have cats. I don't have any
It
cats right now.
it floats around in the air and it settles in everything.
So Sloth Girl says she's trying to get you to play Minecraft, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. To me, Minecraft is virtual Legos, but I've got real Legos.
Yeah, but it's virtual unlimited Legos. Like, like you can build castles and then the Eiffel Tower and then like whatever else you want.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. It's kind of cool in that. And probably if I played it at all, I'd just play it in the creative mode. I'm not really so interested in fighting the monsters. It would just be about building stuff.
Well, you can play in survival and turn monsters off too. But yeah, creative is more satisfying in a way, because you basically just you think of something and then you're like, okay, I'm going to build it. Here are unlimited parts to build it. I always try and play survival, but I can't go very long.
Well, if you're playing survival mode without monsters, I guess I don't quite get that. Other than what you have to go and gather stuff and search around for things more, huh?
Yeah, and feed yourself. So survival without monsters would be growing your own trees, growing your food, exploring to find the materials you need. You'd still have to worry about falling in lava or falling off of cliffs or whatever else.
Okay.
Or you could just set it to like easy mode and
I guess I can see there could be some level of satisfaction, when you have to go exploring and have to go find the stuff you need.
mm-hmm. I always just play on easy because I'm really not that interested in the combat aspects of it. But there's some pretty interesting pretty interesting farms you can build using living creatures. I have aspirations to be a redstoner and a technical Minecrafter without either the knowledge to do either.
Yeah, the Sloth Girl song was showing me a bunch of the stuff he did with the redstone. Some pretty impressive things, especially when he gets into the demolition work.
Yeah, blow everything up. Honestly, I spend more time watching YouTube videos on Minecraft than I do playing Minecraft.
Yeah. Well,
mhm.
one game he started, he found a village that had 5 churches.
Mhm.
So he packed all the churches full of dynamite and yeah, left the energy trails to set them all off with one detonator. Pretty much wiped out the whole village in the process.
Yeah. Hopswatch and I have a server that we play on sometimes. We haven't played in a while though, because stuff. And we managed to find a seed where the spawn was right at a village, so we have villagers for trading with, and I haven't found it. I'm not going to blow up the church, but I haven't figured out what to do with the church just yet. But I do a lot of when I do play Minecraft, I end up copying basically. I just like, oh, I need sugarcane for rockets so I can fly around. But nothing better than a good headshot with my crossbow. See, I've never even played with a crossbow. I haven't played in 1.16.
When I was a teenager, I made a real one. I built a crossbow that fired basically large darts. It was quite accurate, but I didn't get to use it much because it was rather overpowered. It had a tendency to put the darts clear through 3/4 inch plywood from any distance that I could actually sight the target from. Before I moved, I was thinking of getting into archery, but now I wouldn't have any place to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually have schools in Minecraft?
No, but you could make them. Well, there's no. Are there baby villagers? Yeah, there are baby villagers.
Yeah,
of course there are.
I've seen villager kids when I've been watching Sloth Girl play.
No, now there's a mod that I really want to get into and play at one time. It's called Techtopia, and it basically completely overhauls the villagers to where you can like literally give them jobs. Like, stuff like what am I thinking? Where's the button? Where did the chat go? Hello? Am I still?
Well, they were telling me that if you like built crafting tables, that you could basically assign the villagers jobs by building them whatever equipment their job required.
Yeah, villagers have jobs. Stuff like Fletcher and things like that. Fletcher, blacksmith, fishermen, cooks, stuff like that. But like they don't really do anything. This mod, like if you assign someone to be you get tokens to assign buildings with a specific use. So you get a marker that is town hall, right? And then a villager automatically becomes mayor, and he can sell you tokens for jobs like farmer, miner, lumberjack, and then you take those tokens and you give them to villagers, and then so you get, let's say you give a lumberjack to one of your NPCs or to one of your villagers. He'll turn into a lumberjack, and any trees within the area of the village he will cut down and then replant.
Okay.
If you give a villager the miner token, and then you go down and you put down the mine shaft token, the villager will mine out the rocks for you and bring it back to the town hall. So it's a very involved system.
Yeah. So you're basically creating your own society there by assigning them the different jobs.
And in that one, you can have there is a job of teacher, and there is a building of a schoolhouse. And when villagers are born in your town, they start out as children and they'll go to school. And the more time they spend in school before becoming an adult, the higher their stats are. So let's just say they spend 20 minutes at school every day for 4 days, game days, not real days.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a farming stat of 12 versus the current farmer you have who's got a farming stat of 2. Well, then, of course, you want to turn the guy with the 12 into a farmer, and the guy with the 2, you want to reassign him to something else. It's pretty involved.
Yeah. I could probably more get into the game that way. I actually like simulation games that get more into the logistics.
You might do well in modded Minecraft, because in modded Minecraft, like one of my favorite ones is this old one. It's called Stonecraft. And basically you're in a world that is nothing but stone, and it gives you a quest book. And it says, gather pebbles. Pebbles are gathered by punching stones. So you punch the stones until you get enough pebbles, and then it gives you a quest reward. And then it says, okay, now make a stone stick. I'm sorry, a stone rod. And you make a stone rod by taking 4 pebbles and making a cobblestone and putting 2 cobblestone together to make a rod. And then it says, okay, now you've made the rod, make a pickaxe, which is 2 of these rods and 3 cobblestone. And you do that and you get a reward. It kind of guides you through what you need to be doing, but it'll give you some idea of how to play normal Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, at one point I was developing a World War II simulation game that I called Pencil Pushers, which basically all the combat would be done abstractly, mostly die rolls based on calculations. But the players were actually like the company clerks. So it was just your job to make sure that the ammunition and the fuel and the food get to the right place at the right time.
So it was like a wartime. Yeah, that's interesting.
I thought it would have rather limited appeal, so I never really finished it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, while there would be some random factors, largely the battles would be decided by which side got the most fuel and food to the battle.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because for most of World War II, that was the big issue. that a lot of times you had these huge armies or huge fleets that wound up sitting stuck for months at a time because they couldn't get the fuel.
So they were called wars of attrition. Right? I mean,
Yep.
I'm not using that wrong, am I?
Well, war of attrition is more about, the soldiers, about, how many people were getting killed. Yes, it's, logistics is basically about getting the supplies where they need to be.
Right, but I thought a war of attrition was to see who would run out of supplies. Like a war of attrition would be like the Mongols attacking a city, and the city's got walls around it, and the winner is whoever has more food. So they like, if the town has more food than the Mongols have to leave and go get food. Therefore, they win, so to speak.
Yeah, well, that's basically the idea of putting a city under siege. Is if you can keep supplies from getting in from the outside, well, they starve before you do. That's actually what happened to Benedict Arnold. Everybody immediately recognizes that name as being a traitor to the colonies, and most people don't realize the real story behind that. That in 1775, he was sent with a small army to siege Quebec to try and make them the 14th colony, 14th colony to join the U.S. And in Quebec, they basically just closed up the gates and let him sit there and freeze through the winter until he got sick of it and went home.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine if you're basically living in tents through a Canadian winter, that's not going to be very pleasant.
Right.
So basically, that was considered a failed operation, and because of that, he got passed up for a promotion. Mm-hmm. If that had succeeded, he may have become the commander of the colonial army instead of George Washington.
Isn't that basically what happened with Hitler in Germany or something like that? Or Russia? Or was it Stalin in Russia?
Yeah.
I know it was someone in Russia.
Pretty much the same with Stalin, yeah. Well,
Did they both do it?
Well, it's an adage about, never get involved in a Russian war in winter, because it's throughout history there have been, dozens of armies who have tried to conquer Russia, and basically just in the fall and winter they got bogged down and they lost it to the weather more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Probably boring everybody with the history now.
So, did you not find a celebratory for today or something?
Oh, hey, Stool. Yeah, I was looking through the stuff, and it's like August is really a desert for holidays. I mean, I couldn't even find many that were interesting enough to make fun of.
No, there was no International X Day today.
Yeah, nothing that I really was interested in getting on about.
Let's see. It's August 7th. National Lighthouse Day.
I didn't see that one.
Well, I've got this holidays calendar. Today is Purple Heart Day in the United States. It's Battle of Boyacea Day in Colombia. And then there's an Independence Day, but it's a public holiday, but it doesn't tell where. International Beer Day. International Lighthouse Day. National Raspberries and Cream Day. It's Father's Day in Taiwan. Peasants' Day in Tanzania. And the Peace Festival Peace Festival in Germany. Oh, it's International Cat Day, apparently.
Oh, now see, that one I would have picked up on. I would have been celebrating the kitties if I'd seen that one.
Oh, wait, that might be tomorrow. This year in 2020, it is August 8th. Okay, wait. Oh, no. That's tomorrow. Today is Purple Heart Day, Battle of Bonicia Day, Independence Day, International Beer Day, National Lighthouse Day, and National Raspberries and Cream Day. Tomorrow is International Cat Day. It's also National CBD Day. So, a lot of drunks. A lot of drugs, rather, not drunks.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
you've
there's your for
definitely
tomorrow.
got a site that shows some that the two sites I usually use weren't showing.
Well, what two do you use? Because this is holidayscalendar.com. Oh, excuse
Okay.
me. I'm a
One of them I
message to
use.
you on.
Yeah. National Today and Holiday Insights are the ones I usually go to.
Well, there's I sent it to you on Twitter so that you can look at it too and see if there's anything interesting
Okay.
that it's missing. And this game is annoying me right now.
Okay. Well, I'll have to save that one for looking up ones in the future.
It's like, give me a shooting star, and it will not. It hasn't since we started this for half an hour.
Yeah. International Lighthouse Day, I probably would have done something with.
Yeah, that's. My aunt really liked lighthouses. Oh. I'm like, why is this not moving? Because it's muted. Pause something or other. So, yeah. Very thrilling day. Not.
So.
Oh, this is your spaghetti day, though. I'm sorry. This is your spaghetti day.
Yeah, well, mostly it's, my shoulders from just trying to, being in a limited space and trying to get the tools in where I needed them to.
Yeah.
But at least I did it without any serious bloodshed. I managed to cut all the old pieces out without any serious gashes from the power tools or anything.
Yeah. You sound dangerous with the power tools sometimes.
Yeah, well, I really haven't, considering the amount of time I've spent working with them, I have had very few serious injuries.
I guess that's fair.
Jira is asking what subjects I'm most well versed in. Actually, probably more than anything would be, more like wildlife and zoology, but general all around science and as far as history, mostly naval history, like the Civil War through World War II.
Never mind, you answered too quickly.
Oh.
You said naval history. I was going to say, are you examining your belly button?
Yeah, mine's not all that interesting to me, but.
Puns.
Yep.
Speaking of puns, did I tell you my gay joke? Do you remember my gay joke?
I know you told it, but now I don't remember it.
It goes like this. It says, I actually do feel such. Bleh. I actually do feel sorry for kids with gay parents.
Oh yes, now I remember.
Yeah, that one. Oh, well, I need to finish the joke, or otherwise somebody will clip that. And they say they either end up with twice as many dad jokes or they get stuck in an endless cycle of go ask your mother.
Yep. Okay, I like Hans's idea there that for National Cat Day, we need to run a marathon of cat videos.
Yeah.
Oh.
Copyright-free cat videos. You know, we don't want anybody getting copyright strikes because of the kitties.
Yeah, Faye's been saying that she was going to set up a kitty cam. But yeah, I know that, obviously money's been tight for her, so she hasn't been able to get a camera to do that.
Angie's been doing puppy cam.
Yep, I've been seeing those. The one she put on, I guess it was the day before yesterday, that one of the puppies in there was being rather vocal, and that was kind of getting on Sammy's nerves.
Shouty kitten, no bad. Or shouty puppy, rather.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he gets up there when we're in chat, and when Diana or Kate's cats get into it, Sammy gets right up in there that he wants to be talking to them, that he hears their cats through the monitor. Although apparently the cats in Minecraft are not convincing to him, that he ignored them.
Yeah, I don't think they're very convincing to anyone.
Yep. Apparently I'm not the only one with that problem. Actually, the funniest one was Bad Tempered Badger puts up his little nature videos from time to time. And he had one of a mouse that was living in his shed. And when I had that playing, yeah, Sammy was ready to jump right into the monitor. He was going to get that mouse. It's like I almost wish I could give him something he could hunt, because it's clear that he's really missing that. He did get to be an outside cat at one time. Yeah, Wonder Lady. Okay. Night, Beth.
Night. My ear itches.
Yeah, generally when I'm in chat, I have to have the headset. Otherwise, when I have it coming through the speakers, I was getting, the echo from the microphone.
I don't know. I think half the fun is seeing the cats react to the videos, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm just watching the videos, then I have it on the speakers, so I can, just move around the place more easily.
Mm-hmm.
I got a pair of cordless headphones, and I don't know, they didn't seem to work as well.
Yeah, I haven't had any luck with wireless headphones.
Yeah, even though the ones I have they're Logitech ones, and it's the exact same model that like 3 other people have had that they've said are great. Just for me, they didn't seem to work that well.
Mm-hmm.
in particular, I found that the microphone in didn't work very well.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing with me. I have some Bluetooth headphones that are for phones, and they just don't seem to work as well as, just regular old plugged in headphones.
Yeah, I would like to have cordless ones just because pretty much in the chats there's always some point where I have to get up and go in the kitchen for a bit or something. So it would be better if I could bring them with. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, seems kind of quiet here, and I did say this was going to be a short one today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any other topics you wanted to discuss?
Nah, not really. I just came in to say hello.
Yep, and I appreciate it. It's good to have somebody else here. I'm very awkward when I have to do it alone. That doesn't work well for me.
I think that's true for most people.
Well, some people are quite comfortable with it. I just don't do too well monologuing. Mostly because I just don't think that what I have to say is going to be all that interesting to anyone else.
Do you think what I have to say? I think the same is pretty true for like most of us that come in here. It's like we're not that interesting, really.
Yeah.
Or just waiting for somebody to say, like, speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, I have a couple of subjects I could speak on. I should probably have a list handy for when I do wind up being in here alone, but I got a bunch of stuff half finished here because my computer was flaking out on me, so I wanted to get a couple of videos done. But
I'm still waiting to see if someone is going to follow me back so I can ask them a question about something. For a possible video, but I don't know, I always get these ideas for, I'm going to make a video about this, and then I never end up doing it. Eesh. Ouch. Oh, wow. I just got my face smashed in this game. Dead again. It's probably time to put this up for the night anyways. Yeah, but yeah, you see that comparison that people make occasionally between the hijab and like nun habits and all that.
yeah.
I thought I'd put a small video together about why that's stupid.
Okay, well, what other channels do you like that do live streaming? Cirrus does quite a lot of live streaming.
Well, you answering someone's question there?
Yeah, Antjer was asking in the side chat, can you recommend other channels that do regular live streaming?
Cirrus does most of his stuff on Twitch, though, as far as I understand.
He had been saying he was going to do that, but lately I've seen him, doing live streaming on YouTube quite a bit too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he does his Hammered Out, that's for sure, on his channel.
Yeah.
When he does it.
Yeah,
I
and
just
Diana, the Lavender Lady, does it Sundays at noon and Tuesdays. I think like Tuesdays at 6 in the evening is when she usually starts.
yeah, but I mean the only thing with Cirrus's streams is that like it's usually him. I
Yeah,
don't know. Him and then like he's going over things like live. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. He's usually like reading blogs and responding to them.
Yeah, with audience input.
Yep.
I don't know. I like Cirrus, but I don't like the way he live streams sometimes. He just ends up on tirades too much. And watching them after the fact is well, we've already said I'm not a big fan of watching live streams after the fact anyways. But yeah.
Yeah, I usually don't watch too many of them, and generally a lot of them just take up a lot of time.
Well, the problem that I have with them is even if it's on a subject that I find that's interesting, they usually end up going on tangents, and I get annoyed with tangents unless it's my tangent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why here we just go on tangents and don't start with a topic.
Nobody ever comes in here thinking, "Oh, they're going to be talking about this," and then 20 minutes later, it's like, "Are you going to get to the topic?"
Yeah, yeah. Angie does Afternoon Delight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that? Oh yeah, that's hers. And
Yeah,
then doesn't somebody does a ladies' night in or something? Is that
yeah.
Angie too, or is that
Angie
Nadine?
actually in on that, but it's usually on Nadine's channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually Nadine and Angie and Faye and Linda from A Bit of Tea and Danish.
Mm. Let's see who else. Well, then there's the streams that you do with Black Sofa. Is that the guy's name?
Yeah, but he's suspended doing those until his kids go back to school.
Oh, I thought he got in trouble and like was literally suspended for a second there.
No,
Oh,
he's
what did he
just
do?
yeah. He winds up having his kids there on Fridays now, so
Oh, yeah.
he's doing things with his family rather than being live streaming.
He's doing things with his real family.
Yep.
That's fair. Well,
Yep. Tangents are fun. Yeah, that is a problem I've had with services, and just
yeah.
the ones that have gotten too big. That when you have like 100 people in the side chat, that you really can't follow what's going on.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like I'm not it. I don't want to be like. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this. This doesn't sound rude to the people in the side chat here because this is a completely different story. But like with the bigger channels, when they live stream, I'm not there for the side chat. I'm there for what the person has to say. And if they're getting stopped every 5 minutes to talk to the side chat, I'm just like not into it. Like I like the way Shannon Q does it. Like she does live streams where she's talking to people, but she doesn't get lost in the side chat if that makes any sense.
Oh, your bag.
Nadine who? How do you not? Oh no, never mind. I'm just kidding.
I was just finding the link first. I've got that.
Oh, thank you. I follow Nadine, but not on Twitter. I mean, but on Twitter, but not on YouTube right now. I follow too many people I keep track of right now.
Yeah, I have had to kind of thin out my notifications. So I'm still subscribed to some channels, but I'm not getting all their notifications just because otherwise my notification feed gets so filled up, when I can't get to it in a day.
Yeah. I end up going through what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, I'm gonna die again. Oop. I fell to my death. Excuse me.
I can identify with that. One of the biggest parts of my move was I found that to maintain my mental health, having a distance of roughly the state of Wisconsin between me and most of my immediate family is highly recommended.
I forgot what I was trying to say.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We were saying as far as, having too many channels in your feed and that.
Well, I don't do the notifications thing. What I end up doing is going to my subscriptions and like just adding everything to a watch later list.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I do too. I only get the notifications on YouTube. I've turned off all the push notifications.
Well, what I end up doing is like I'll go through and I'll look and I'll be like, okay, Nate Brody streamed for an hour and 18 minutes ago, 33 minutes ago. Look
Yeah.
at what he said as the title. Not really interested. Okay, I'm going to end up hiding that. I'm going to add that to my watch later, and then, just kind of go through them all. And
yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And, then I kind of just have the playlist running while I'm, home doing other things, working on projects or, doing dishes or whatever.
Right. I mean, otherwise it just gets to be too much. I'm still trying to finish a live stream that started, not a live stream, a video that came out yesterday. I watch a channel called The Right Opinion. It's a drama channel, talking about YouTube drama and whatnot.
Oh.
And and he just released a video yesterday, 4 hours long, 4.5 hours long, on this YouTuber called Nikocado Avocado and all the drama that he's been involved in. And so
I have zero interest in other people's drama.
I enjoy learning about it, like from a purely outside standpoint.
I feel that at times, depending who the people involved are, some of it I need to know about just to kind of keep up on the community. But, most of the time I really don't want to know about it.
It's one of the few things. It's just something I find entertaining is watching drama channels when the drama does not involve anyone that I'm particularly associated with. The only time this guy ever stepped on my toes, so to speak, was when he did a video about Girl Defined and used clips from Rachel Oates and Jimmy in it. And I ended up posting a comment to defend them because he was basically, how Girl Defined is. They're all sugar coated and sweet girls and all that. And he was basically saying that people pick on them because they're easy targets. And my comment was basically like, no, it's not because they're easy targets. It's because they're easily digestible. Nobody's going to go to Steven Anderson's Christian website where he talks about wanting to kill the gays and all this, that, and the other, and going to be sitting there. No impressionable young person who's not off their rocker is going to be going to that channel and seeing what Steven Anderson says and thinking it's a good idea, whereas you get Girl Defined in their way of making videos and being all sweet, and you know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. I
Oh
can't seem
yeah.
to find my words for it, but they're actually more of a threat than Anderson, because people are going to look at Anderson and be like, "No, fuck this guy, he's crazy."
Hmm.
Whereas with um, Girl Defined, they're going to be like more inclined to listen to them and absorb their trad wife trash,
Yeah.
because they're nice people and they're kind about it, or mostly kind about it, instead of being like inflammatory assholes.
Yeah. Well, and Jimmy, more than anything, when he talks about them, is just to point out their hypocrisy.
Hmm.
That all of their advice is telling other women not to do what they're doing.
Hmm. Right. It's like, no, stay home and be wives and mothers. But we don't have to do that. We're going to have our ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like I watch a little bit of that. Mostly, I'm vaguely curious about the guys who married them, but
They don't bring them on the channel that much. Not like Paul and Morgan.
yeah. Well, see, and that's part of what I wonder about that. Everything they say is about how the man's supposed to be head of the household and everything, and it's like I don't really see that being the case in their household.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Why would you say that? Just out of curiosity, because
Well,
like they
just
don't. Go ahead.
well, just from what I've seen of the few times that the guys have been on their program that I've seen,
Mhm.
it seems more that they're just kind of they're nodding, and the girls are the ones running everything.
Well, I mean, it could also be that they're not used to being on camera, and so they're,
Yeah.
hesitant to. I mean, if they had them on more often, maybe we would get to actually see like their personalities. But the few times that they've been on, they've just been like, "This is awkward. I feel awkward. I'm just gonna shake and nod my head and and yeah, you're right until this is over."
Yeah, well, like I said, I've, kind of been curious about what goes on when the camera's off there, but
Well, if the camera wasn't off, never mind. I was gonna make a
yeah.
stupid joke and it didn't work. Well,
And just part of that's just from my own perspective because I've really never been comfortable trying to be what society thinks a typical man's role should be. It's just,
mhm,
I'm not really interested in doing that.
right.
I do enough of it that I could, make a living, and that was about it.
Yeah, I don't really care. Although I did have one of those days where I was just like, why am woman? You know? Um, because like there's always these things that it mostly in context with like trans women and the way that gender criticals behave and all that, and I'm just like aside from the ones that would be like, I find that when I try to satisfy my curious about some drama or another, I encounter more info than I have the patience for. I really just want the Cliff Notes version of the drama."
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel when I see the Twitter drama and that. I don't want to go back and read the whole thread. I just, you know, if somebody could just give me the brief on it.
Mhm. But I was having this little mini crisis the other day when I was like, okay, what about me makes me a woman compared to a trans woman? I don't do makeup. I'm a bad. Shut up, you. I'm a bad cook. I'm a bad housekeeper. I don't do makeup. I don't do dresses and all the girly things. I'm from a religious brother that when a woman is allowed to have a ministry,
Yeah.
it's just ministering to other women or children. I guess that could be true because that is who they minister to.
I guess I guess it depends which denomination you are.
And I wonder if they've ever addressed that.
Not directly that I know of, but you know, I can only take small doses of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even a lot of times when somebody else is responding to them, if it goes on too long, I start to kind of just, yeah, enough of this.
I've gotten to the point where I just don't care enough to watch anything about the transformed wife or Paul and Morgan or the transformed wife. Did I say that? Sorry, Girl Defined, Transformed Wife, and Paul and Morgan. I've become sick
Yeah.
of them. I'm like, I'm not. I don't have the patience to deal with them or to listen to their nonsense.
I can once in a while, but you know, not even once a week. That would be too much.
And
So
then don't even get me started on just intros. I hate when people play the intro for the Paul and Morgan for Paul and Morgan.
yeah,
That annoys me. Well, the problem, Aunt Jer, when it comes to getting the Cliff Notes is, are you getting biased Cliff Notes? You know?
well, that's why rather than getting them from one person, you know, sometimes I can get them through like one of the private Twitter groups. So you've got like, you know, a dozen people giving their angles on it. Then you don't have quite the bias. It kind of, you know, gets averaged out a little better.
That's true.
Although, you know, again, for the most part, I just really don't understand the drama. I don't understand a lot of the things that people get so emotional about.
Yeah, sometimes.
I've always been accused of overanalyzing everything. So,
You want to talk about, I get that all the time. In fact, my boyfriend and I almost had an argument either yesterday or today because I was overthinking. Have you ever watched NCIS?
a few times, it's not something I ever got into.
Okay, but so you know the characters, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I basically said that I had to stop watching the show because of DiNozzo. You know, the ladies' man acts like an idiot but is really a really good agent type character.
Okay.
And but basically because like half of the way that he behaves in that show, if it was real, he would have been fired or sued or something because he's always constantly making sexual jokes and comments
Yeah.
and smacking, he gets smacked, not the other way around. And I'm just like, that's too unrealistic for me. And basically he's like, you're overanalyzing, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but like I can suspend my disbelief if I'm watching a show and it's saying that people can fly. Okay, well, in this universe people can fly. That's not going to break my suspension of disbelief. But if it's not established in this world that something happens in a particular way and then they do it in a particular way, like midi-chlorians in Star Wars,
Yeah.
then I'm going to have an issue with that because it breaks the lore of the universe in which the setting breaks the setting. There
Yeah.
we go. And I don't like that.
No, yeah, I'm the same way. That I can go a long way with the suspension of disbelief, but it if it's something that's trying to claim it's in our world, then it's got to obey the rules of our world.
Right. And that's one of those arguments that I always get into when people, when people start on the it's not realistic thing with certain things, and I'm like, it doesn't have to be realistic, but it has to follow the rules of the universe in which it's set.
I don't know. This idea sounds dangerously close to actually wanting unbiased journalists.
Unbiased journalism? What on earth are you talking about? Sorry,
Well, I'm sure that was probably before you were born, but back in the 70s, they at least thought we had some of that.
Ooh, excuse me. What the heck was that?
Back when we had some reporters on TV who actually seemed to have some integrity.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the analyzing things, and that it's made it hard for me to get into a lot of TV shows. And one of the big ones is it's like there are very few sitcoms I could ever really enjoy, because most of the sitcom humor is based on people who are supposed to be friends or in a relationship.
Not communicating
Yeah,
with each
either
other.
not communicating or downright being assholes to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if I had a friend who had a regular pattern of that, I wouldn't be hanging out with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, the situations always seem unrealistic to me, or
Mm-hmm. No,
like, why
that's
do you put
fair.
up with this?
Yeah. There's very few shows that can do that in a way that doesn't come off as, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, one of the things I remember is really being really funny to me is that my fiance, after she had a surgery, was on the prescription painkillers for a couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and really in too much pain to do much of anything. So she pretty much sat around watching TV. And after she got off the prescription painkillers, was going through the DVR, seeing the stuff she had recorded and watched during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, without being drugged up, she couldn't understand why she had watched this stuff.
What was she watching?
Well, it was during that she started watching How I Met Your Mother, among other things, and what was it, the New Life of Old Christine or something like that. Just a couple of sitcoms and that, and it's like, yeah, it's like, no, no, if you people just talk to each other, this wouldn't happen.
Right.
It's like every episode would have been over in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm reading a web comic right now that's it's called Love Not Found, and it's basically set in this world where people have moved away from physical contact except for children. And so like sex is assisted through computers, so you don't actually have sex. It's about a girl who she's just not feeling fulfilled, and she meets a guy and discovers that she likes touch, which makes her kind of like a deviant in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten to this point where he's been offered a promotion, and he hasn't told her about it yet because because he doesn't know, because it would basically put a strain on their relationship. He's like, if I tell her about this promotion I've been offered, how is she going to take it? This, that, and the other. And I'm like, please don't go down the route of contrived trouble that could easily have been solved if the two had just sat down and talked to each other, type of thing. And
Yeah.
so far they haven't, but it's kind of teetering on the point where that could be where it goes. And I'm just like, I'm not like happy if that goes that way. Right now we're at the point where the girl left her home. It's set in the far future where there's settlements on different planets, and depending on what planet you are on, you're given an injection that kind of helps your body adjust to that planet. So like if you're on a cold planet, you get an injection that makes your body adjust and deal with cold more often, right? So she's on this hot, humid jungle planet. And her parents are visiting from this ice planet. Well, she left her home planet because she accidentally caused the death of her older sister, who was the prodigal, who was the prodigy child. It's like the one that the parents favored and all this stuff. And we're at the point where the mother's visiting, and the mother is a controlling bitch and has basically exposed them for their deviancy in front of the kid's boss, who was considering him for the promotion, and all this drama. And I'm just like, when it was just a romance, it was one thing, but now they're bringing in like abusive parents and strange work dynamics, and I'm just like, I don't know. And I'm just rambling.
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't. Well, no, I shouldn't. You need to wrap this up, so
Yeah. I really should wrap this up just so I can try to get more sleep and, excuse me, be able to function better tomorrow. Because I'm still not sleeping any better than I had been. I just sleep 2 hours, I'm awake for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, laying down for 8 hours does not get me more than 5 hours sleep. So, well, thanks everybody for coming.
Yep.
Oh, Jenny just came in. Hey, Jenny. Sorry, I'm keeping this short tonight. So, okay, thanks everybody. We will see you next week then. Bye-bye.